I just flipped this classic truck for a huge profit. The only issue is the new owner is going to be here in a couple days to pick it up, and it doesn't quite match the pictures that I sent him. So we're going to see if we can do something about that here. So I thought I'd just warn you now, we're not doing any serious repairs in this episode. Just kind of having fun. I know, I'm not allowed to have fun, but I just figured, for all the people that don't enjoy fun, I'm just warning you now not to watch the next however long this video is, because you'll just be upset. And so those of you that are sticking around, I appreciate you. And basically what we're doing is we're taking a bunch of junk that I had laying around the yard, and we're going to kind of bolt it together and kind of make it look like something, so it keep the bylaw guy happy and the neighborhood happy and all that stuff. Kind of essential part of being a classic car enthusiast. And by classic car enthusiast, I mean hoarder of irreparable garbage. Some of you may recognize this as the world famous 1948 GMC cab. Despite the fact that it has decayed to the point of being irreparable, I just can't bring myself to scrap it. Well, we can't have a dent like this spoiling our beautiful lawn ornament. So a lot of people were incredibly upset when I butchered up that 3-window to make a 5-window truck. And I mean, rightfully so. I mean, they only built a couple million of these trucks, so you just hate to see them get hacked up that way. But today we're going to make things all right in the world, and we're going to do a 3-window conversion on this 5-window. So kind of like an eye for an eye, we did one 5-window, and now we're going to make a 3-window. And as you can no doubt tell by the video, this sort of conversion requires a lot of precision metalwork, and it's not something you could just hammer together in an afternoon. You really gotta work at it to get it right. So uh, you know now don't worry about cutting your filler pieces to the right size or anything. You can just kind of scab them in there, and it'll all work out in the end. I think you're going to be amazed at just how well this turns out. If it's cut a piece too short or whatever, just add a little piece of metal in, no big deal. Just when we're metal finishing it, it'll all kind of blend together. So I think now here we are metal finishing it. As you can see, we're using the coarsest grinding stone available to really dig into the metal and dig out that metal finish. And now we're over here, and we're metal finishing out our Pennsylvania porcupine repair. Now at this point we kind of remembered that when we did that repair, we mixed in the unispotter studs in with the filler to reinforce the filler, which did work, but it does sure make a tough time at trying to feather edge out the filler there when you got little chunks of metal in it everywhere. So but we did get through it eventually. Well, it's time to repurpose this wonderful garden feature into a classic truck again. It's about time. And here we are continuing the metal finishing process on our 3-window conversion. Now, a lot of people think you need to fully weld stuff in order to get a perfect metal finish, but I'm here to prove those people wrong. So you're going to be really amazed at what we get down here today. Just for the record here, this cab is completely unrepairable. We are making it into yard art. I don't say things are unrepairable very often, but there is nothing savable on this. The only thing that could possibly save is a small portion of the firewall, the center section of the roof, and maybe a couple chunks of the rear panel on the cab. It is so badly rusted that there is no metal left at all. It's at the stage where it looks like it's there, but it's not there. There's nothing there to be saved. And believe me, I don't say that about very much, but like this thing's gone. Just a quick reminder here of why we're not actually fixing this cab. You know, when I lean on this door, you're not supposed to be able to see the floor on the passenger side moving, and that's also not supposed to be moving. Actually, this is all supposed to be attached to something, which it is not. So it's not a good situation. It's just a little too rough, this one. So in order to restore some of the structure, we're gonna just go ahead and weld the door shut. Like, this is a good way to kind of preserve it for future generations to enjoy, and also prevent it from falling apart completely in our driveway, which would be incredibly embarrassing. As you know, we have a certain reputation to uphold around here. This thing is rotten right to the core. Even all the inner bits and pieces are gone on this. So all the old school bodywork that I uncover, it's always full of these little ice pick hammer marks, and it's either going down like this, or you can see it on the inside, just harsh ice pick marks. If anybody can explain why the old time bodymen use this so much, I'd really like to know. Was this like the only tool that they had available, or what? But anyways, we're kind of doing a traditional repair here, so that's all looking very good. Have any of you ever dove into a project with all kinds of glee and enthusiasm, and then you get about a day or so into it, and you stand back, and you suddenly realize that, hey, this is a colossal waste of time and resources? Well, it's basically the story of my life, but that's exactly what's happened here. I just, like, what are we trying to do here? I tried following the advice of Strong's Garage, where they said, you could increase your shop space by 50% and all this stuff by bolting your junk back together. And you know, on paper it sounds pretty good. So I tried it out, and I mean, it did, I guess, you know, clear up a bit of space. But here's the problem: we took a bunch of parts that were easy to move by themselves, and now we've assembled it into something that is impossible to move. And so, you know, now I don't even have any way of getting this thing out of the garage anymore. I don't know about those guys at Strong's Garage. I think they're a couple of shady characters. I guess let's just try to finish this up. We're kind of past the point of no return. We have all kinds of grand schemes and stuff to make this so really special, and we were gonna put some cab corners on it, but I think for the used car thing we're doing, you know, all you gotta do is just fix all the holes that are at eye level, and nobody ever looks down at the cab corners and rocker panels anyways, so I think I'll be fine. Not to mention the price of Bondo these days. I went to Canadian Tire because I saw they had like well, I thought it was like a gallon size like this for $35 of their Canadian Tire brand filler. It's like, oh yeah, I could spend $35 on this and you know, patch it up and whatever, make it look really good for a joke. And then I get there and I didn't really look at the size of the can when I was looking at it online, and they want $35 now for one of those teensy little tins of filler. Like I couldn't believe that. Like, this is $50 from Napa for the gallon or whatever they call it. It's not even a full gallon anymore. But anyways, yeah, they want $35 before tax for a little teensy thing of Bondo. So you know, it's getting harder and harder to do this this hackery. So I don't know what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to start getting better at doing metal work, I guess, or something. Cause and that, and I hate the dust. Like, look at this place. I mean, I'm not exactly, you know, Mr. Clean here, but I just can't stand the dust from the filler. It just makes a mess of everything. It's very upsetting. Nice. Well, unfortunately, our color choices were limited on this one. We had the choice of Chevy engine blue, bright orange, some kind of satin green color, or this kind of cinnamon nutmeg color with a can that had a messed up spray tip that kept getting clogged. So naturally, we went with the cinnamon color. And thing with painting and paint matching is you don't actually need to have a perfect match, or even a match that's even in the ballpark. All you have to do is have confidence. Confidence is key. You know, you just gotta smile, look them in the eye, and say, this paint matches perfectly. And it doesn't matter if it's, you know, bright translucent orange, and you're blending it into black, and it just doesn't matter. You just got to be confident in yourself, and you can sell anything. So our hood here has some light collision damage, and we're not actually going to fix it, obviously. Sorry, but it's about 3/4 of an inch shorter on this side than the undamaged side. So I would, at the very least, like it to actually, you know, sit on the truck. That might be too much to ask, but we're gonna try at least. So somehow the paint on the cowl got damaged when we were installing the hood. So, and we were all out of our cinnamon nutmeg color. So we had to go in and blend in some green now over our repaired areas. Bit disappointing, as I really had my heart set on the cinnamon nutmeg, but you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. Well, I just broke down and spent 130 bucks on caster wheels so I could get this old lump of joy moved around. At least now it's going to be partially mobile. But I mean, between the paint jobs and all the custom body work we did, this is getting to be the most expensive waste of time I've had the privilege of working on this week. So, and this is also almost guaranteed to be probably one of my least viewed, most disliked YouTube videos because it offers no value at all for you, the viewer. So I apologize for that. Yeah, I don't even have any excuses here. This is, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with my brain, but feel free to continue watching if you're also, disturbed like I am. Welcome to the club, I guess. Well, I would say that this has about a 0% chance of actual success, but, the holes are already there, and I can only assume that the reason GM put them there back 70 years ago was for this exact purpose here. So we're just gonna go for it, and I mean, if it tips over or like these start to interfere with each other, then that'll make good YouTube. So yeah, wow. I've done some pretty terrible stuff before, but like this is a new low. This thing's gonna be an absolute nightmare to try and move anywhere. But just for the record, the bottoms of these fenders, they're already destroyed. So, don't get too mad at me when this thing just tears apart as soon as I try moving it anywhere. Damage was there already, but feel free to roast me for this. This is not a commendable act at all. There's a very upsetting dent on this roof. If you can see it right here. Obviously, before we do our windshield install, we gotta at least try and get that a little better. Beauty. Wow, what a transformation. So excited my new window seal finally came in for the back glass. And get that installed. Well, I gotta say the next minute or so is not Kyle's finest hour. We did manage to get the seal in there and the glass in, but then for some reason I had this idea in my head where I really needed to, salvage the original lock strip. And well, I spent a lot longer than I want to admit trying to, use that. And unfortunately, the seal was so deteriorated that it wasn't going to happen. And we kind of knew that from the start, but we still went at it regardless of that knowledge. And in the end, it was a massive failure, as would be expected. Pleased to report that the windshield install went a lot smoother. No doubt this was because we decided to forgo the rubber seal entirely and go for the more modern, streamlined street rod look with the flush fitting glass, which kind of fits in with what we were doing with the rest of the truck. This is the one secret the glass installation experts don't want you to know about. Fact of the matter is that regular old Bondo is an excellent substitute for a lock strip as well as a window sealant in and of itself. And once you finish the application of your Bondo, you just go along with a permanent marker of your choice and you just color it in to match. This also works on black cars when you do your bodywork, so you save a lot of money on paint that way, and it sure looks sharp when you're done, as you'll soon see here. There you go. It's tight as a drum here. No way that's ever gonna leak. Very nicely done. Oh no. Well, that's disappointing. It's almost like if you have really bad collision damage, you actually have to kind of pull the metal out instead of just filling it. Who would have thunk? Maybe I can ratchet strap this door closed or something. Is that, for some reason that pillar is tweaked ahead and not allowing the door to close all the way. Just can't imagine why. And unfortunately, something got lost in translation. I think we should all just take a moment to appreciate just how badly twisted and mangled this cab is. Let's take a look at our gaps here. Our nice body line fitment lines up flawlessly with this. And then we're tight at the bottom, which is what you want. And we're tight here and kind of, you know, in there like that, which is again desirable for the aerodynamic flow of this. And at the bottom here, the gap gets a little bit bigger. I mean, you can just fill that with body filler again. Just depends on what the customer wants. Customer's always right. So we just got this door ratchet strapped on here. I don't want to weld this one on because this door is actually really good. So it's just kind of on here to get it out of my way. But I don't want to do anything that's going to wreck it. Unlike the rest of this, which is basically garbage. You know, yeah, one good part. So boy, does that ever look sharp though. Stand back and admire the fruits of our labor here. I wish I had some headlights for it, but I'm a whole lot of steel beams, so maybe that could be a future upgrade we could do to this thing. Definitely arguable whether or not it actually looks better than it did, but there it is. I gotta say, this thing is like obnoxiously awkward to try and move around with that rigged up caster setup we got going on. So I think the best thing to do now, it's about 11:30 at night, and so I think we should be moving this thing outside under the cloak of darkness. That way nobody's gonna judge us, and it'll give the whole neighborhood something to look forward to when they wake up in the morning. Picture this. The sun is shining in with the promise of a great new day. Birds are singing in the trees. You rush over to the window to breathe in the morning air and get a face full of this magnificent abomination, blocking your line of sight. Best thing is we can say we did it all ourselves with no professional help. I've still been getting messages from people saying that cab could have been saved, and they could have saved that cab, and Buddy's a welder, and I got a yard full of old washing machines for the metal, and we could have welded it up and whatever. I tried thinking of any way that could possibly be made back into a vehicle, and it's not happening. And well, there wouldn't be anything left of it. It's just so decomposed that there's the only metal that there's actually left that you could actually weld to is about a section about this wide by this tall of the firewall. And then the back of the cab, there's about, an area of metal about this big, and then the center of the roof, which is about that by that, and everything else is completely gone on that cab. All the understructure, the air bracing, the door jambs, the door posts, just everything. There's just nothing left of it. So the options are you basically throw away 99% of it to say that you saved it, and then you're either splicing it with a better cab, which, I mean, we already kind of did that. We did save the corner windows and the side vent, and we used it in that other cab that we fixed, so we already took what was usable out of it to fix another truck. But it doesn't make sense to cut up a better truck to splice it to that. Or the option is they spend about $12,000 on new sheet metal, complete floor front to back, complete cab back panel, complete roof panel, complete door posts, and a lot of the inner structure I don't even think you can buy. You can buy a complete cab that's assembled, which is probably about $20,000 Canadian. I think it's $12,000 US. So, and then what are you going to do? You're going to cut out a little section of the firewall and weld it in, or what do you do with this cab? So I was debating just cutting it up and hauling it for scrap, which I just can't. I don't like doing that, but it's not really good for anything, and it's just kind of an eyesore the way it is. So I thought this was kind of a fun way for it to still exist without throwing it away. When I was a young lad, my favorite thing was just seeing old cars and old vehicles in people's yards sitting around, and most of the ones, were probably similar to this truck and just beyond repair, but that's exciting to see. And I never really grew up, so I still like seeing that. And so I think this way it can still exist, still be seen by people. I mean, let's be honest, 99% of people out there aren't gonna appreciate that, but there's always that one person that sees that and they're happy to see that. And so it's kind of like having a car in a museum or whatever. It still doesn't get driven, but it's there. So it's a long way from being a museum piece, but I think it's important to preserve it and preserve this stuff, because once it goes to the baler, it goes overseas, and then it gets made into some sort of appliance or something, and then it ceases to exist and it's gone forever. So we were just having fun today. I know this isn't our usual thing, but hopefully some of you enjoyed it. I know a lot of you probably won't, and that's okay. Just what I was doing the last couple days. I was busy on other stuff earlier in the week, so we didn't really get a lot of actual repairs done that were YouTube friendly. So we're not going to do this all the time, but it's kind of a fun thing to do, I think. And maybe some of you have some old junk laying around, you can scab it together and use it to make your neighbors jealous or whatever too. So beyond that, I don't know what else to say. We're just we're kind of hustling right now and trying to get things rolling to get another bigger project in here for all of you to watch and we can make videos on or whatever. I just, I gotta save up the pesos or whatever to make that happen. Yeah, I don't think I got much else to say. So thanks again, everyone, and sorry for this, whatever this episode was. I know it's not our usual thing, but it is what it is. So we'll see you again soon with more cutting and welding, and maybe even another project vehicle.